Joshua Mayo's channel was growing like most, slow and steady. But at the end of 2020, he noticed something that caused him to make a decision that did this to a video, this to his channel, and this to his bank account. But how did he do that in one of the most competitive niches in the world? Well, in this video, Joshua's going to reveal the simple change he made to achieve this, and then I'm going to tear apart his most viral video and show you the tricks he used to get results like that, as well as show him what he could have done better.
I love that. Dude, Ed, that's amazing.
What was the main change that you made that helped your channel explode?
My first video that ever popped was an ETF video. And ever since that, I was just putting out ETF content. And I would still put out the occasional credit card video or bank account or how to build your credit score, things like that. And those videos never performed well. And so what I noticed was whenever I would put out content that was related to making money, that video would always be a top 3 out of the last 10. And then I would go and put out a video like an ETF video or a credit card video or a best bank account video. And that one always underperformed compared to the make money. And when I finally just said, forget it, let me just go quadruple down on this, that's when I started seeing the massive growth. And so the biggest change I made was just talking about one specific part of personal finance.
Was there anything else that you sort of felt might have been holding the channel back?
At the beginning of my journey, I was afraid to speak what I believed was true, my values, because I was afraid that I was gonna polarize people. I found out over time, that's how you grow a YouTube channel. When you go really strong on a certain message, there's gonna be a group of people that really believes in what you're saying. And because you're going so strong on it, they're really gonna be diehard fans of you. Whereas if you just kind of have this mixed message and you're trying not to offend anybody, it's just hard for people to follow you. I noticed that when I started speaking my value, the growth started happening a lot faster.
How do you pick an idea? And then from there, what's your process?
Some guy named Brian D, he came up with this term called skyscraper. Basically, the way it works is you look at a piece of content that's doing really well and you find a way to make it better. So if Andre's skyscraper is here, I'm gonna try to find a way to make my skyscraper a little bit taller than his. And that could be with the quality of the content. It could be with just a new piece of information that he didn't talk about that I could talk about. It just could be with the delivery. There's a lot of ways to make it different or better. And so I would just look at top creators, watch their content. I would come up with my own words, obviously. It would be me talking, but I would just try to find a way to make it better.
You just beautifully simplified YouTube.
Or I tell people all the time, listen, I'm not talking about anything different on my channel that hasn't already been seen on YouTube. It's just the certain elements that make my videos unique are what makes it stand out.
So now we know Joshua's beautifully simple strategy. I wanted to take this video, which picked up just under 2 million views in its first 2 weeks of life, and break down some of the things Joshua does that made it so effective, as well as look at how he dealt with 2 of the biggest problems YouTubers have that can annihilate a video's performance. Starting with this, his hook.
I've got 4 side hustles that no one is talking about that can earn you as much as $900 or more per day with basically no skill. All you have to do is choose one of these ideas and then execute.
The candle. Just go with the candle.
If you can't compel somebody enough to continue watching within the first 2 seconds, you lost them. The candle is just one extra thing that I have that's going on that's keeping somebody interested.
So I think it worked on me, but there's one problem with it, okay? Okay, so here's the problem with Joshua's visual hook. Let's say you're watching a murder mystery film and you're trying to work out who done it. One of the lead characters walks into the room and puts their keys down on a table. Now, if that moment wasn't significant, it would have been shot like this on a wide, and the keys would have played no part in the rest of the story. However, if those keys were a clue, it would have been shot like this, and that's the editor letting us know that those keys matter. As viewers, when we watch a film or a YouTube video, we look to find meaning in what's being said and done. So if you put something out there that doesn't play any part in the rest of the story and you draw a lot of attention to it, yes, it could look really flipping cool. Why won't this candle light? But it could also confuse your viewers as they scramble to work out what the significance of it was, and if they find out that there wasn't any, that could cause them to feel frustrated. But because I actually found this trick quite intriguing as a viewer, I came up with a solution for Joshua to give it some meaning. So what you did is you set something up that never got paid off. It never played more of a purpose than a trick. So what I think you should do is at the very end, pick it up and blow it out and just go black.
I love that. Dude, Ed, that's amazing.
Not amazing. You're just blowing out a candle.
No, that's the thing. It's such a simple thing, but it's like... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start doing that.
You've completed the loop. The story is complete. Which brings us on to something Joshua did exceptionally well. To explain, let's just break down the video into the 4 key points he makes using a dummy retention graph. So here at the start, we have his hook with the candle, which then leads into the first point, which was about a side hustle that makes money cleaning bins. And the second point here was about a print-on-demand store. Third, this was about making money reviewing Amazon products. And then the fourth here was about creating an Etsy store. But the sections that are glowing are where I really want you to focus. Because at the start of every point, Joshua tells a story of some kind that unpacks a lot of the information about the side hustle. And remember what I said earlier about viewers wanting to find meaning in stories? When you lead your point with a story, people's brains fire up and they start to try and work out why the things that you were saying matter. So when I sat and watched his first point where he talks about bins, my brain was going, oh, that's interesting, I wasn't expecting this. I wonder where this is going. Oh, it looks like there's demand for bin cleaning. Would I do this? Could I clean bins? Yeah, maybe I could, because there's quite a lot of money to be made and it looks like there's a lot of demand. As where if you lead with the facts and say something like this, the first side hustle is cleaning bins, it makes about $90 an hour and there's a lot of demand for it. It's boring. Watch every TED Talk ever, it's the same. They'll make their point with a story first. Not that I've checked every TED Talk ever. Where did you pick that up from?
Where I learned it was from Mr. Who's the Boss. And I noticed that he would do that with his big listicle videos. And he's got like 17 points to go through. And he would kind of start off each point in a similar way.
Which brings us on to how Joshua dealt with the 2 massive problems that can destroy a video's performance. To explain, I'd like to introduce you to some test tubes. So to get around these big problems, let's simplify your YouTube viewers into 3 different test tubes. Now this first one here, this represents cold viewers. These are people who have never watched one of your videos before. This second one, we have return viewers. These are people who have watched one of your videos before and they've come back to watch another. And then this third one, these people are your fans. They come back every time. Right now, these tubes are empty. But in order to blow up a video, you have to fill them up with this stuff. Trust, not milk. Because the more trust a viewer has, the more likely they are to continue to watch a video and give it all of the right signals for YouTube to show more people. And to show you just how insane the difference in viewer types is, I'm gonna show you the retention of a video that I made that has no editing, no prep, and it's just me rambling to a camera for 6 minutes. Ta-da! 65% retention, and no, it is not because I'm a video genius, it's because I sent this video to my email list and the people on that list are these guys. But if I'd released that video on this channel, well, the cold viewers would have gone, what the heck is this? And they would have left, and then YouTube wouldn't have promoted it as much. But how do you build trust? Well, let's have a look at how Joshua did it, and then what he did that could have maybe ruined that trust. Is you have a very good looking setup. I saw the office, I saw the art on the wall, thought this guy looks like he's successful. And that was the first thing that made me think, okay, there's some credibility here. It's a shame, but first impressions matter so much because these guys don't trust you. So the second that video loads, they are looking for things to confirm their lack of distrust, not things to prove themselves wrong. But even if you don't have a fancy setup, I'd say the next way he dealt with this trust issue is way more important. And so you can do the same thing. I'm gonna teach you a little trick. So when you come up with your thumbnail and your title, ask yourself this. What 3 questions do you think someone who has no trust in you at all would want answering when they click play on your video? And to show you how this can build trust fast, I took Joshua's video and asked some YouTuber buddies of mine what 3 questions they wanted answering when they saw his thumbnail and title. And then I asked my Twitter audience the same thing. And you're gonna see how tough it is out there because the comments got nasty fast.
The first question is definitely, what are the side hustles?
What are the 4 side hustles?
Could this side hustle be part of my regular day?
Is this legit?
What other side hustles are out there?
Is there any one of them that I can get started right away?
Is it difficult? Is it hard?
I call bull.
So as you can see, my YouTuber buddies are a little skeptical of this video, but let's dive deep into the faceless world of Twitter and show you the unfiltered truth of what you're dealing with here. Hundreds of comments, all incredibly negative because as viewers, we've been burnt so many times, meaning trust is at an all-time low. So when I threw all of these comments into a spreadsheet and worked out what the #1 thing they all wanted to know was, it came down to one word: proof. So now let's look at the genius way Joshua fought back, against this. So at the start, he leads with this candle hook and then jumps straight into the story of the bins. And in this story, he included a few things. Number one, the side hustle was not a traditional one. So that instantly satisfied the people who expected it to be the same old thing as they always get told. Number two, he then showed the amount you can make backed up with a screenshot and proof it's legit, followed by a comment from a Facebook group from someone raving about his service, which proved once again that it was legit. So in those opening minutes, a level of trust has been built that lets people know they have not fallen into a trap. Bringing us on to the second big problem us YouTubers have to overcome that actually caused Joshua's viewers to leave. Right there. I want you to pretend your YouTube videos is kind of like a box of chocolate. We're getting very Forrest Gump here. Jenny. If I burst into your house on Christmas Day and I'm like, Joshua, do you want some chocolates? How many do you take?
I mean, I'll take one for each hand.
All right, so you eat them. You want a few more?
Sure.
What if I say you have to eat the whole thing now? How would you feel after eating a whole box of chocolates?
Like garbage.
Yeah, but you still like chocolate, right? You just had a bit too much.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to show you now is how you gave your viewers too much chocolate. So Joshua's video followed a pattern. Each point he'd tell the story and the retention would remain flat because he was handing the viewers sweets one by one. But then he'd do something after that that was forcing them to eat a lot more chocolate that maybe they couldn't handle. And the result was these dips in retention. So what was he doing? Well, let's go back to the questions that the viewers wanted answers to. How many of them said they wanted to learn how to set up a print-on-demand store?
None of them.
Yeah. What Joshua's stories did so well was sell the viewers the dream that built up their confidence that maybe they could take on the side hustle. But then after, he gave them a really detailed rundown of how to set them all up, and it knocked that confidence and went from sounding like something that was quite achievable and easy to something that was actually going to take up a lot of time and skill and was more work than they'd expected. By providing a better service, he actually gave them a little bit too much chocolate and potentially caused a feeling of overwhelm that scared some viewers away.
So let me ask you a question. My fear is that I cut out all of that sort of more detailed nitty-gritty stuff, and over time people just kind of stop like losing interest because I'm not providing enough value.
And that is exactly the right question to ask. But really, I think there is no set right or wrong definitive answer here. Of course, Joshua has to provide some level of detail here, and the video was an absolute banger either way. But it's something you as a creator have to work out for yourself. How deep do you go? But I will say one thing. As Maya Angelou once said, people won't remember the words you said, but they'll remember the way you make them feel. But if you want to learn to come up with some strong hooks for your videos, just like Joshua, then watch this video next to learn how the top creators in the world do just that.